Hey everyone, this is Rachel and welcome to another scrapbooking process video. If you hang out until after the video is through, there are always detailed shots of my current layout. Let's get going! Hey everyone, for today's layout I am digging deep way into my stash, a very old scrap room kit when I belonged to them way back in 2009. I think this is probably from around. I belonged to them like more recently, but I've actually used all of those. But this is one of the kits I had that was much older that I have not used, so I'm going to go ahead and use it today. This is a layout I'm going to be making at a crop in November, so I will be popping over there after I say let's get going. Okay, for those of you who watched my last video, you'll see I'm actually working with the exact same line. This is Chatterbox papers from about 2008, 2009, and that is what was in my very old scrap room kit. I mentioned in my last video that I loved this floral paper and I wanted to make sure I was able to use a chunk of it. So all I'm going to do is trim off just a bit so you do see a little bit of that cardstock underneath, but definitely not. I barely take off like a bit at all. With Chatterbox paper, you definitely had to use the cardstock as a backer. For those of you who haven't been scrapbooking since 2008, 2009 at least, it is very, very, very thin paper. So all I'm doing is creating an L shape of a paper. I've got that scallop paper and that's where my photo is going to go. And then I'm actually going to matte pattern paper, which is kind of funny when you think about it. But one of the really good things about the Chatterbox paper is you could do layer upon layer and it barely added any thickness at all. That's how thin this paper was. So I'm liking the way things are looking. I'm going to go ahead and put some tape down. When you're putting down a very large piece like this, I've learned this trick from Kelly O'Black, and that's just to run tape down one side, and then that way, if it's not super straight, you can redo it without having to rip up the entire page. So that's a really helpful hint from Kelly that I much appreciate her talking about in her videos. And then I'm going to go ahead and put down the rest of what I have for the layout. I'm also adding that doily, and that's just, those are from Amazon. My friend Deb bought like 1,000 of them and then um, shared them with us because she's awesome like that. So I'm double matting my photo in just very thin layers. And just for a little bit. There's a lot going on in the photo. It's actually a cast photo, so there's lots of different costumes and lots of different people, and so I didn't want to overly embellish right around the photo, but I did want to give it a little bit of separation. So once I get that done, I'm going to work on my title. I go back to these Vicky Bouton word and phrase stickers, and I'm going to choose the words shine on because it is about a theater production. So that made sense in my brain. While I'm adding all these bright light shiny thingies that go around the word, I will tell you guys on Tuesday, April 9th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be doing a YouTube Live, so I hope you can join me. I hope to do at least one layout. Last time I did get in two, but they are both pretty simple. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to work on yet, but hopefully y'all will join me and chat with me. All right, so I am going to add these jeweled brads that came with the scrap room kit. It was 2009 when I got it, so jeweled brads were all the rage. And I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and use them because honestly, I loved those brads. Do you know how hard it is? They're put into like a foam stack. Do you know how hard it is to keep track of a foam stack of 6 brads for 10 years? Not easy, folks. Made sure I did not lose those jeweled brads. I was going to use them one day, and use them I have. I was super excited to use those. I was just, yeah, I'm like, oh, I'm going to use it. I'm going to use this chatterbox that I love. I'm going to use this floral paper that I love, and I am using those jeweled brads by darn it. What I did was I went into my stash and I pulled out these mirrored acrylic pieces by Color Cast Design, and you can't see that they're mirrored because there's a cover on them, so don't worry, they're not like super cloudy like you see. And then I also went in and pulled out that flare. Woohoo! I pulled out that flare and it has little mini peacock feathers all over it, which totally makes sense. This is a production of the Fantastics, and I think of peacock feathers as opulent and over the top, as is this show. My housemate was playing one of the parents in this particular show. In the original show, it's two fathers. In this version of it, they did a father and a mother, which it's not a big deal. And so I'm using my liquid glue to add that big mirrored heart with the centerpiece missing, and then on either side I'm going to use those last two jeweled brads, and I thought it looked really cute. I'm going to add a couple of the smaller hearts. Right now you see them spread out on my paper, but I am going to add those to the layout as well. I'm very happy with the way this turned out, and I thought it was a really nice mix of older product and newer product. These Color Cast Design acrylic pieces I only purchased in the last year or so. And then the doily's not that very old. The flare's not that very old. The title is, I just had gotten that before I went on this crop. So, Vicky Boutin only started releasing scrapbooking product like last year or so. All right, as I'm rambling on about timing, I'm actually going to finish this layout up with some Jenny B Blue shimmers, and that is going to finish it. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Oh, I am going to put my journaling there. I just didn't have the right label for it, so it'll not be in this video. All right, folks, make sure you join me on Tuesday if you can, and flick me a thumbs up. Thanks so much, everyone. Bye.